To know who God is and to understand what he is like, it is necessary for God to reveal himself to us. Hi, this is Mark with The Distorted Me. Have you ever asked yourself, what is God? That's what we're going to talk about right here at Distorted Me today. Who is God? And what is he like? To define the infinite by way of finite does not work well, for he is infinitely greater. Yet God is indeed infinite. Otherwise, God would not be God. There'd be room for more gods, small g gods. To focus on one attribute fails to recognize another, like transcendence and immanence. God is. He has isness. He has not changed ever. Invariably, descriptions minimize or ignore aspects of his essence or God's character. I'll be using some writings today from Wayne Grudem's book, Christian Beliefs, as well as my friend, Pastor Darian Bennett from Trinity Church. To understand what God is, first we must admit that all definitions are inadequate because God is incomprehensible. Again, if we could wrap our minds around all that God is, he would not be God. As humans, we are still stymied by creation itself, let alone understanding the full essence of God who created all that is seen and unseen. His attributes and actions will always be somewhat mysterious to humans. Go to Romans chapter 11, verse 33. This is referred to as the incomprehensibility of God. Yet, as one begins their study of the doctrine of God, one needs to start with the information presented by the subject matter. Just as Scripture is the highest source of information about itself, God is the highest source of information about himself. In Scripture, God explains to us that one, all people have an inner sense of God. Romans 1:19. What can be known about God is plain to them because God has shown it to them. And two, we believe the evidence that is found in Scripture and nature. In Psalm, the 19th Psalm, says, the heavens are telling the glory of God, and the firmament proclaims his handiwork. His creation speaks volumes about his nature, his essence, and his character. Thus, he's knowable. This is a term that refers to the fact that we can know true things about God and that we can know God himself, believe it or not, and not simply just, facts about him. So, in this way, God is knowable to a degree because he reveals himself to creation. To know who God is and to understand what he is like, it is necessary for God to reveal himself to us. He does so in two distinct ways. Through creation, which is called general revelation. A great verse there would be Genesis 1:1, of course. And through Christ, his word, and that's called special revelation. Go to John chapter 1, John 14:6, Romans 5:8. Those verses will help you. The answers to these questions fall under the theological category known as the doctrine of God, and it speaks to the nature of God and the essence of his being, his character, and his attributes. General revelation. It maintains that God's existence and particular attributes can be ascertained through an innate sense of God's reality and conscience, as well as through observation of the universe and history. The heavens declare the glory of God. Romans 1:20 says, for since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen. General revelation reveals God's existence and his majesticness primarily through his creation and nature and the universe. It is always available to all people at all times and in all places. General revelation condemns and leaves mankind without excuse to the nature of God's existence and God's greatness. Just go to Romans chapter 1 and 2. Learn all about it. Special revelation refers to the more specific divine self-disclosure to and through certain persons. Sin allows us to know God in a very, very personal way via salvation. Special revelation is given to the elect and declares God's grace. Sin is never good, but God uses sin to reveal himself in a special way, salvifically. God, who made mankind in his image, has used language as a means of revelation and has given special revelation to mankind regarding his divinely inspired word. It is through special revelation that God provides specific knowledge about himself. Galatians 3:8. About mankind, Amos chapter 4. About the world now and hereafter, Luke 3:2. About miracles, 2 Corinthians chapter 12. Through the scriptures, 1 Corinthians chapter 2. And about Jesus as the Christ, Colossians 2:9. The ultimate purpose of special revelation is to bring his elect to saving knowledge of Jesus of Nazareth. That's the reason. Let's look at God's character. How is God different from us? He has certain attributes that define his character, and they are seen as incommunicable, and as such, render him distinct from creation. He also has communicable attributes that he graciously shares with us human beings. As such, God is at the same time immanent with us in every way and actively involved at all times and transcendent, distinct from all creation outside of creation. So, God has particular godly attributes that are incommunicable. That is, they are unique to his being. Let's look at some God-only, incommunicable aspects of God. God is perfect, and that there is no one like him in his perfection. He is personal. He's a personal being. He's involved in our lives. He is infinite and independent, having aseity, meaning self-sustaining and needing nothing from us, including our love for him. Yet he sends hunters to hunt us down. Jeremiah 16:16. God is spirit and without body and without parts, absolutely invisible. He is self-existent, having necessary being in himself so as to be independent of all else, though he is the cause of all other existing things. He's eternal, such that he exists apart from time and space continuum. Go to Psalm chapter 90, verse 2. He is unsearchable, yet omnipresent. As such, he is not limited by time and space. He is spaceless, timeless, and immaterial. He is immutable in his essence and nature. Thus, he does not, nor will he ever change, which is a really, really good thing. God also has communicable attributes that are shared by humans to a limited degree. In these attributes, we are like him in his being, since we share in these mental and moral attributes. So here we go. He is love. John 3:16. We can love. He is merciful. Exodus 3:7. We can show mercy. He is gracious. Ephesians 2:7-9. And we can act with grace. Also a great verse there would be Romans 6:23. He is patient. We can be patient, though you probably, like me, probably need to work on that one a little bit. He's omniscient, so he's all-knowing. We have limited intellect. He is omnipotent, all-powerful. We have limited power. He is divinely sovereign, the highest authority, and in total control. We have limited authority and control. Let me wrap this up. What is God? Ever since man first walked the planet, men and women have been trying to remake God into an image that fits our lives, our mold. As we have learned, we can barely define who our infinite God is, let alone mold him. Just maybe through general and special revelation, we have perhaps just seen the tip of the iceberg. But I think that's probably an overreach too. In this life, the other side of eternity, I think we're just beginning to know and understand who God is. How foolish to try to mold God into our image. Heck, we're still trying to fully understand what God is. For Distorted Me, I'm Mark Tate, and God bless.